Oh, this is kind of an add-on to the last one. Oh man, this is very interesting how they're showing this. I could totally be translating this wrong, but you know how we've talked about so many times, like it is like your worker bees here, right? We are, it's like we're supposed to come down and have a great time, and then that determines what we love. So the world continues to come up with solutions for what we love and how we can make it better and moving in that way. And yet, of course, we get tricked and trapped in the illusion and confusion and delusion. And so how there's a duality down here, and there are lower energies, and you've experienced them. If you fall to depression, you fall to anger, rage, envy, jealousy, all that. It's just the lower side of the scale. And those energies are always around and ready to cling on to you when you're at that space. So you have to love yourself and free that energy, and it's like married to a higher energy. And that takes work and effort. But you've heard me also say, it's like, I find it so interesting when they're like, yay, we got the bad guy, as if there's one bad guy. No, a bad guy is somebody who has a wound, who has an opening, and it has just gotten so massive and infected, they just turn into a monster. They become all consumed by lower energies. So to visualize that, it's like literally demons have taken over their body and are running their body, mind, and soul. And they are required to feed those monsters, those demons, by doing horrific things. And so this is why it's like, oh, those energies leave that body, but they don't leave this realm. The only thing that leaves this realm is pureness. You go back into pure bliss, but you still have the lower energies on this realm. So that energy seeps into whoever's next, whoever's available, whoever has a weak spot. And so they were just showing somebody disgusting, like just horrific, had done horrific things. And again, it's like terrible to even say it that way. It's because we want to learn to separate that. It's like they hated themselves so much, they dishonored themselves so much, that they just became this open, empty vessel to be filled with horrific demons and lower energies to riddle them and run, take over. And so they were showing, it's like, well, you kind of want to keep them alive forever. I joke about it's like, the Catholic Church has told us that it's a sin to commit suicide. Don't you dare leave this torment chamber. We need as many open vessels to be living in fear as we possibly can contain on this realm, because all of you living in fear are soaking up the demons. You're soaking up those lower energies so that others can rise above and float in bliss and continue to step on the lower. And so this is the idea of like you good people get stepped on because they're not learning to love themselves. They're living in fear and they're being obedient. They're very good little worker bees following along as they're supposed to. But then they get led right off a cliff. And they're not opening up to this understanding because they're still living in fear. But they were just showing somebody who was in jail, and it was like, oh God, I hope they do keep him alive forevermore and keep him in jail forevermore, because he's hosting such lower energies that the longer they can keep him alive, the longer those energies continue to feed on him and all those surrounding him. So, it's like I know that's what I'm saying. It's kind of, a harsh way to look at it, but it is what they're showing, and it made sense. Like, the other side is such bliss because it is just purity over there. I was standing in the water, and man, it was so beautiful. And the dolphins have been swimming so close to shore. It just makes me beyond happy. And it started to thunder and rain, and I thought, oh God, I'm in heaven. It just was just perfection. And oh God, now I forget. There was something. God came through and said something. And I said, no, you don't have to change a damn thing. You are perfect. Right? The universe is perfection. It's perfection. It's us who gets distorted. It's us who fails when we fall prey to the illusion. when we let the ego win, when we fall to the less than and we stop loving ourselves, we get topsy-turvy, we get confused. And, but the universe really is perfect. It's in perfect harmony, perfect balance. Everything really is for us, even those lower energies. The idea is not to turn people into monsters. It's not. The idea is for you to see this horrific thing happened. Why? Where wasn't I loving myself? What was I telling myself? How did I call that in? It's like, get over it and look there. But people don't. They get angry. They get sad. They get spiteful, revengeful, and they want to go take revenge or be envious or like they go outwardly to harm. And then they just continue to grow and feed. Like lower energies, then it's like they light up like a demon, and the energies are like, oh, look, there's an angry demon, right? Or there's a person who's willing to host us. And so they don't understand. They're literally attracting in the thing that's feeding that anger, making that anger and jealousy and envy grow, and then turning them into the monster they are, and then land them in prison or etc. Right? It's like, that's the idea, is if you don't love yourself and you don't figure it out from the jump, then you continue down a path that is going to lead you right off a cliff. It's harming you. But that means you have to take accountability. And people just don't want to do that. But if you hear it this way, it's like, well, that's insane. So you'd rather feel awful inside, feeling that anger, that hatred, that revenge, that envy, that jealousy, all that awfulness inside. You'd rather feel that and keep that up and call in more than take a look and recognize the lie you've been telling yourself and change it. It's like they just can't hear that or see that in that state. And they keep, quote, acting poorly, meaning against themselves. And so then they keep hurting and harming themselves and calling it in. And they're just stuck in that cycle. And it's tough. It's tough because now you have to fight all those demons to get out of there. So careful what you're thinking. Make sure you're loving yourself and being honest with yourself. And it's okay if you have a bad feeling. You're going to have them, but recognize it right off the bat, like, oh man, why did I think that? What was that? Right? Like, recognize it and recognize, well, what is that really saying? What is that telling me I'm lacking? What am I, you got to ask right away so you can nip it and get it out of there and turn it upright. Don't let it sit and fester. Yeah. Okay. I just thought it was interesting too, because I know there's a lot of people who get really angry and they want to call justice. But there's so much we don't understand. There's just so much. The universe is beyond our comprehension. We just have to learn and understand the rules to the best we can. But there's going to be things you're not going to be able to fully understand. And I think justice, karma, whatever you want to say, seems to be one of them, because people still get confused on who the justice server is. It's not them, right? And so I know a lot of people believe in the death penalty, an eye for an eye, and they also, it's like they get really angry and they want that person taken out because that person harmed their life or their kids' lives or something along these lines. And so you can understand where they're coming from. But a couple of things here. If you've been listening to me, you understand that it upsets me because they are good people. And that was a horrible scenario. And they have to love themselves, forgive themselves, and choose to go within and clean up their own thoughts and their own vibration to continue living their life to the best of their ability, because they don't want to spend the rest of their life in what appears to be hell, fighting against somebody, wanting somebody dead, feeling miserable and awful every day because that's where their attention is, their sadness is, their anger is. It's like they can't get out of that loop of thinking and hurt and pain But they're making that choice because they're not choosing themselves and honoring themselves. Maybe it's guilt, it's survival guilt, right? Or it's all these things that people do to themselves that they have to work their way out of if they want to be happy and live a great life, or not. Just recognizing that's the choice they're making. And if they hear that, they would say, no, I'm not. No, you absolutely are. And that's what sucks, because you have to take accountability there, and you have to love yourself more than you hate somebody else. And that's hard for people to swallow. And then the other thing is, if you heard what I said in the beginning of this, how they just showed this, then technically you don't want them dead, right? You think because the bodysuit's gone. No, it's more torment them staying and living with those demons, feasting on them and living in hell, and staying here in this realm, soaking up that horrific energies into their vessel. You take them out, that vessel's demons get seeped everywhere else and stays on this realm. And they get to go, their soul gets to go back into pure bliss. So you're actually rewarding them. You think you're giving them the death penalty as a punishment. No, you're rewarding them. It's bliss on that side. And you give them the out. The way they're showing me, I'm telling you, all these, we have it so flipped and fucked up down here. But also, I know there's the debate of overcrowd of jails, but it's also, if we walk it back, it's everybody's got to start fucking loving themselves so that people don't have to become open vessels for lower energies, which means you stop following other humans and religions and ideologies and other people's beliefs and bullshit. You stop all that shit. You break through all those fears and all those egos and all that stuff. You start actually loving yourself, allowing yourself to do what truly feels best for you. And you start living your life for you as if you actually own your life, because most people do not. And they're well aware of it. And there's a lot of people who are not aware of it. But again, I am well aware that it's not easy. But that's the choice. Free will, or I was going to say, or no free will, but it's always free will, because even in the choice of giving up your power to others is the choice. You have the free will to do such. Yeah. The whole point of all this is when you hear it from this angle and you hear how they're showing me how it really works, although we get confused because we've been trained the other way, then maybe everybody would stop with the victimhood, stop with the punishing others, stop with all that is just sucking up your time and your life and your joy. Why? Love yourself, love your time, love your joy, love your energy. Love yourself to go live. Okay. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.